Folks, our guest today is Mark Webb. He is the owner and founder of CacheMore here in Morgantown, West Virginia. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation, learning more about your business here in West Virginia.
Absolutely.
Positively West Virginia. Positively West Virginia.
Positively West Virginia is powered by BreezeLine high-speed fiber internet and sponsored by Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Kia of Morgantown, and Humble Influence. With the help of these sponsors, we're able to share the positive business stories of West Virginians, including the one from today's episode.
So Mark, let's start right at the top. For our listeners who may not be in the know, give us an overview. What is CacheMore all about?
Sure. So let's start with talking about geocaching.
Yeah, let's do it.
Geocaching is a 21st century high-tech treasure hunt played by over 3 million players worldwide. The game started in 2000 with GPS availability being turned on for civilian access. And ever since, people have been hiding physical containers in the real world and marking them with GPS coordinates and challenging people to find them. So there's 3 million geocaches worldwide. And right here in north central West Virginia, we have about 3,000 to find.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. So how does that work? Are you putting the treasures out there for people?
So it's a game for the community, by the community. So anyone can hide a geocache. You just have to find a suitable location and place the container and mark the coordinates. And then it's like an online listing service. So you go online, you give it a name, you give it a description, information like that, and then anyone can go and find it.
That's amazing. Well, how did it get started for you? Like, how did you get into this whole thing?
I started in 2009. So I've been playing for 17 years now.
That's great.
It really started as a family hobby. My mom was looking on the local Parks and Rec site for just activities to do in our local town. And my brother was really involved in sports. So we spent a lot of weekends at the baseball field or the soccer field in these parks. So to know that there was hidden treasure in these parks that we visit every week was really surprising. So it was just an instant hook.
Are these caches basically on public lands then, primarily then? Is that how it works?
So think, rails, trails, parks. A lot of them can be at businesses or even private homes.
Really?
Anywhere that you have permission to place a geocache, you can hide one.
Yeah. All right. So tell us about your business now, CacheMore. What exactly is it? How do you make money at this?
Sure. So over the years, I've really found a great passion in bringing people to locations and highlighting the hidden gems in our own community. So 2 years ago, I founded CacheMore as a way to gamify tourism. We know how big tourism industry is in West Virginia.
Sure.
And really, it's not enough just to tell people about your location or to tell people about your brand. You need to bring people to that location and make them feel rewarded for visiting that location. So CacheMore is a full service destination branding agency that specializes in geocaching. So we do a lot of work with local businesses and tourism agencies to create these experiences and these trails and bring people to locations and showcase multiple different areas. And then usually we create some sort of like reward or incentive for completing all of the locations.
So is there something that you're excited about right now for CacheMore and your business, like with this gamification and so sort of tourism attraction?
Sure. So we have 2 big projects that are coming up. In May, we're launching the Lumber Heritage Region GeoTour.
Wow.
So this is in north central Pennsylvania. It's 23 locations across 15 counties designed to celebrate the history and heritage of the lumber region in Pennsylvania.
That's really cool.
We're bringing people to the Kinzu Bridge, which was the highest railroad bridge before it was knocked down by a tornado. We're taking people to Gobbler's Knob, which is Punxsutawney Phil's hometown.
Course,
So, and then we're also doing another geotour here in Morgantown, highlighting some of the businesses and museums and recreational opportunities throughout Mountaineer Country.
Wow. Yeah. So how does somebody get involved with CacheMore? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we do a lot of outreach with local tourism agencies, kind of pitching the impact that geocaching can have on the local community. And then from there, we kind of work back and forth on determining which locations would be fun, not only for geocachers to find, but that serves the tourism goals of the agency.
Yeah. So, Mark, you said you've been at this in geocaching since 2009, correct? Where did you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Fairmont, so a lot of my initial geocaching projects were in Marion County.
Yeah. Did you go to WVU?
I did.
Okay. What's your background there?
Yeah, so I got my undergrad is in advertising and public relations, and then my master's is in integrated marketing communications.
Wonderful. I was an advertising major as well.
Yeah, very cool.
From WVU. That's really cool. So when you see somebody for the first time, maybe at a networking event or something, you say, "Hey, my name's Mark. I own CacheMore." What do you tell them? What's your 30-second pitch? What do you do?
Yeah, so I always start off by asking, you have the Goonies, you have Pirates of the Caribbean, you have these fictional treasure hunts. But what if I told you these treasure hunts were real? There is real treasure out there to be found, and there's a global community of people that want to find these things. So CacheMore, is a marketing agency that brings people to specific geolocations through the game of geocaching.
That's really cool. I love it. So let me ask you this. All right. So I've never done geocaching. I've heard of it and read about it and I've seen photos and videos and things like that. But when you come upon these GPS coordinates, you're tracking it, right? You find it on this website, this list, and you get there. Is it something you have to unlock? Is it just a door? Is it a container? Maybe describe the experience a little bit.
Yeah. So the awesome thing about geocaching is that it's different. Every experience is different and you can really pick and choose. So at the most basic level, you're looking for a standard Tupperware container that you might have in your kitchen cabinet or an ammo can, something like that. Something that's going to be waterproof and can stand the test of time, usually out in the woods. So they typically, you walk in the woods, down a trail, you follow clues, you follow the GPS location. Think a pile of rocks or a hollow tree. Different things like that are pretty common. Yeah. But then it goes all the way up. You can have what are called gadget caches, which they kind of look like birdhouses, and there are many escape room puzzles that you have to figure out how to unlock the container to access the geocache. Okay. There's different types of extreme geocaching. So there's one on top of Seneca Rocks that you have to rock climb and rappel to. There used to be one at the bottom of Cheat Lake that you had to scuba dive to. Wow. So there's really different experiences, and people make it exactly whatever their hobbies are.
Creative.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see what people are interested in outside of the game of geocaching and how they kind of incorporate that and share the experience.
So when you find the treasure, what typically is the treasure? What is it? Like a gift certificate? Or I'm curious. What is it look like?
So it's always the thrill of the hunt. So inside each geocache is a logbook that you write the date and the time and your name to prove that you found it. Okay. And then typically there's small trinkets, so Matchbox cars, patches, different things like that, stickers. And the idea is if you take something out of the container, you put something back in of greater or equal value. So it's like a trading post.
Oh, no kidding. So you've been doing this a long time. What's one of the coolest treasures you found?
Yeah, everyone always asks me this. I've found 21,000 geocaches at this point.
No kidding? Do you keep a log of all these?
Yeah, so I keep track of it all online, which is helpful. All right.
Yeah.
I found so many cool things. I was involved in scouting growing up, so I have a lot of really cool patches. I love going to different areas and finding things that are unique to those areas. I have this little bronze die-cast slot machine that actually works that I found in a geocache. Wow. For the longest time, I was really into collecting bouncy balls. So, different sizes, shapes, colors, designs, all those sort of things.
Yeah. You said there's 3,000?
3 million.
I mean, in this area, in Montague County, there's 3,000. What about in the state of West Virginia? How many are there? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's a few thousand. Yeah. You definitely have pockets. So North Central West Virginia is really active. Wheeling-ish area is really active. Martinsburg, Charleston, Beckley.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love our conversation. This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
Your prescriptions are designed to keep you healthy, active, full of life. At Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're making vital medicine more affordable. Because when your prescriptions don't cost an arm and a leg, you can use those limbs for something more meaningful. Because life. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, West Virginia.
Stay connected with an unbeatable deal from Breezeline. Voted best in Mountaineer Country for their reliable, high-speed fiber internet for a low cost, Breezeline is the best gig in town. You know, here at Interaction Media, we rely on high-speed internet every single day to ensure we can deliver the best content possible for our clients and when we publish Positively West Virginia each week. That's why we use Breezeline. It's affordable, fast, and they're great people as well. Learn more about Breezeline's internet, TV, and mobile options at breezeline.com. Folks, we're back. We're visiting with Mark Webb. He is the founder of CacheMore. It's really a marketing agency that specializes in geocaching. Mark, I'm really intrigued by your business. I think it's really cool. How long have you been in business now? A couple of years? When did you start?
Yeah, so officially started in 2024.
Okay.
The project or the business started as a result of hosting an event here in Morgantown.
Okay. Can you talk about that?
Yeah.
What spurred the whole thing on?
So we hosted Geo Woodstock over Memorial Day weekend of 2025 in Morgantown. Okay. This is an annual geocaching event that has been happening since 2003. It moves around the country to different small towns, communities. It's been in Louisville, Kentucky, Denver, Colorado, Flagstaff, Arizona, Nashville, Tennessee. So it's a bid process to submit, and you have to, prove that you have the infrastructure, the hotels, the attractions, different things like that to bring people to your area. So I worked with the Visit Mountaineer Country CVB agency to put together this bid and get all the information together. And then over Memorial Day weekend, we had 5,000 geocachers from all 50 states and 24 countries visit us here in Almost Heaven for a full weekend.
Wow.
To celebrate, everything Appalachia and geocaching, and just really immerse themselves in the culture of Morgantown.
Was there like a central base for that, like a conference center? Talk about the event itself.
So the main event was held at Milam Park. That's where we had exhibits and speakers and vendors and the typical conference things that you would expect at an event. But we also partnered with several businesses and locations throughout North Central West Virginia to really give a well-rounded experience. So the weekend kicked off on Thursday. We had an event at Cooper's Rock. We had an event at Mason-Dixon Park where we had like an Appalachian string band perform for our guests. Yeah. We partnered with 10 different locations throughout North Central West Virginia to hide geocaches and to encourage people to visit all 10 of those throughout the weekend. And we told them that we're going to have 5,000 people banging on your door. And I don't think they believed us, but by the time they sold out of their entire inventory before noon on the first day, I think they really noticed the impact that this type of tourism can have.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Well, thank you for doing that and bringing that to West Virginia.
It was an honor, honestly.
Cool. So for people who may not be familiar with the geocaching industry or even tourism for that matter, what do you think is the most misunderstood thing about your business and your industry?
Yeah. So, geocaching is a very niche sport. I'm talking about it like everyone knows about it. And it's this big global hobby. But it's very similar to like bird watching or disc golf or pickleball. These activities that the community is really, really passionate about, but people on the outside, they might know of it, they might have heard of it, but they don't really know what it entails. So my advice and my, call sign is, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Whenever I pitched this business and this big geocaching event to local partners, they kind of looked at me like I was crazy. But the more you kind of talk about it and the more you can show that impact and that value, there are people who want to help. There are people that want to pitch in and be part of unique experiences like this. Yeah.
Well, experiential, I should say, marketing is very powerful.
Yes.
It's where people can actually have a memory of doing something as opposed to just seeing something and you're actually being a part, you're taking part in it. You're actually going and being physical, walking and maybe hiking and going into the trail, or, just trying to look for using technology to find these targets, right?
Yeah.
These treasures. What kind of impact do you feel that CacheMore and your business and the things that you're doing is having here in West Virginia? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, honestly, that's the most rewarding part about all of this. Being a West Virginia native and telling the story of Appalachia and bringing people to my hometown and showing the great things that are happening here is reward enough. But if you start to look at the numbers, over Memorial Day weekend last year, we had an estimated $3 million of revenue. Between hotels, businesses, restaurants, gas, all of these things kind of culminated into this really impactful experience for not only branding North Central West Virginia as a tourism destination, but really boosting the economy.
Yeah, that's economic impact for sure. I mean, $3 million over a course of a weekend. Yeah. And that's typically a weekend where a lot of people are leaving, Morgantown and Mon County to go on vacation, or 3-day weekend or whatever. And you're bringing that economic impact right here to Mon County. What opportunities in like the geocaching field are available that maybe people are overlooking right now?
So like I said, the game can really be anything that you want it to be. One of the things that I pride myself on is creating immersive experiences that are themed to those locations. So it's not enough to bring people to a location and say, like, you're standing at the historic site of, XYZ. Like, we want to make people feel that. We want to, give them an opportunity to read the signs, to, maybe interact. You have to solve a puzzle or pull a date, or, do something a little bit more than the average tourist would. So I would really encourage people to take a look at the initiatives. What are you trying to get people to accomplish? What do you want people to remember? And then how can you use treasure tourism to really drive that impact?
You called it treasure tourism.
Yeah.
I like that. Is that something you coined, or is that
It's something that I keep trying to throw out there and hoping it sticks.
I like
it's this, the idea that tourism isn't transient. We want to bring people here and give them something to interact with, because we have treasures all across in every community and in every holler. So why not showcase those?
Yeah, I love it. This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back. In a world obsessed with leadership, what if the real key to success is followership? We hear it all the time. Be a leader, take charge. But what if the most impactful people aren't the ones leading from the front? In Humble Influence, I explore how humility, collaboration, and shared purpose empower followers to create meaningful change in business, organizations, and relationships. Discover the strength of true followership with Humble Influence. Folks, we're back. We're visiting with Mark Webb. He's the founder of CacheMore. It's a treasure tourism business. How's that, Mark?
There we go.
Good. This has been a great conversation. I'm learning a lot. If somebody like myself wanted to get involved with geocaching, what's the thing? How do you get started? What do you have to do?
Yeah, so geocaching is a free-to-play game. All you have to do is visit geocaching.com or download the mobile app. You register for a free account, and then instantly a map will pop up and show you all of the nearby geocaches, right around you.
Really? It's that easy?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. And then what do you do?
So then you can review any of the geocache details. You can look at the hints, the description, the name. Every geocache is listed with a difficulty and terrain rating, meaning how hard it is to find and how hard it is to access, like the terrain. Are you going on a long hike? Are you climbing a mountain? Are you just walking up and finding it? So generally, geocachers start with easier difficulty and terrain ratings. That kind of gets your feet wet. You kind of get the experience and you understand what to do. And then, you can zoom out and look at whatever location you want to travel to.
Yeah, that's amazing. So it is pretty easy. How do you find the GPS coordinates? You use like a mapping software or your phone, or?
Yeah, so whenever the game started, you had to have a handheld GPS
like a
device.
Magellan or something like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
But now everything is done on your phone. So the same way you navigate and you punch coordinates in for your work or any other destination, and it routes you there, it's the same way.
All right, so you've been doing this for a long time. You've got 20,000 plus caches that you've found, treasures you've found. How is technology impacting this whole idea of geocaching? It seems like it's making it more accessible. Maybe you could talk about that.
100%. So when the game first started, your accuracy of your GPS device was like 30, 40 feet. And whenever you're looking for something in the woods that's really small, 30 feet makes a pretty big difference. So as technology has evolved and GPS have gotten more accurate, that's definitely made a big impact. But today we're seeing implementation of different technologies in the sport. So we see like NFC chips being used to display coordinate information. We're seeing virtual reality or augmented reality being used to tell immersive stories and guide people to geocaches in different ways.
That's amazing. That's very cool. So I did ask you how you can get involved in finding treasures. What if you wanted to put a treasure out there? Like, is that something that's done, or do you have to be playing? How does that work? Like, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so once you create a geocaching account, it's generally recommended you find 50 or so, just to understand what the game is about, how they're hidden, what types of containers are good. But then anyone can hide a geocache. There's guidelines and rules, like you have to be so far away from railroad tracks. If you hide a geocache in a state park here in West Virginia, you have to file a permit. So there's certain things you have to keep in mind.
That's cool.
But other than that, it's whatever your imagination can come up with.
That's really great. I'm thinking about like Cooper's Rock. You mentioned Cooper's Rock. It was one of the destinations for the geocache Woodstock. I think it was that right event. Like it's at a state park like Cooper's Rock. How many treasures would there be there? In that area, a rough number.
I would say there's probably about a dozen.
No kidding.
Throughout the state forest there.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Good. So one of the things that I like to talk about on the show is leadership. You're a business leader. You own your own business. You brought this conference, this convention, if you will, annual event here to West Virginia, which I think is very cool. What do you think, Mark, is one of the most important traits of an effective business leader today?
Yeah. So I always, think about the task at hand. What are we trying to accomplish? And then look at my circle of people, who has the skill set, the talent. Yeah. Like, let's put them in a position to succeed. Let's bring the right people to the table. And like, I don't claim to be an expert on graphic design or web design or, all of these moving pieces that went into hosting an event like geocaching. But what I do know is, the geocaching community and the vision of what this event needs to be. So just bringing people into the room, having the right conversations, allowing people to have the freedom to take what they're best at and run with it really has elevated CacheMore into what it is today.
Yeah, that's great. It's great wisdom. When I think about your business and I'm imagining that you're a sole proprietor, one person.
Correct. Yes.
Army. How do you get the word out? I mean, you got a master's degree in integrated marketing. How do you get the word out today about what you're doing in your business?
So luckily, the geocaching community is really robust. There are people that care deeply about this game and will travel for any sort of unique experiences. Yeah. We do a lot of communications through social. That's where everyone is these days. Sure. But for Geo Woodstock specifically, we made a whole ambassador team. We had about 50 people all across the country, and even in Canada and Australia, to help spread the word of the good things that are happening in the geocaching community here in Morgantown.
Wow.
And just be like those spokespersons in their own community to really hype up the game and what we're doing.
Yeah. How was the response from the community that you talked about? Like not just the Morgantown community, but the geocaching community. All these people from across the country, every state represented multiple countries. What was the reception like?
Yeah, Woodstock has never visited West Virginia.
Okay.
It's been in Ohio. It was in Pennsylvania. So we've kind of hit every state around the Mountain State. Yeah. So people were really excited to visit West Virginia and spend a weekend. You know, we have so much great things happening here in the heart of Appalachia. Yeah. So people were really excited to come and really immerse themselves in the culture that we have here. Yeah. And I think people walked away with such a great appreciation of what we have to offer.
Yeah, that's great. And it seems to me like that would, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like that was an audience that may never have come to West Virginia.
Right.
And you're drawing thousands of people here, which
exactly.
is, thank you again for that. I appreciate that. What's a piece of advice, Mark, that you would give to people thinking about starting a business? Clearly, this is a passion of yours. It's a hobby. It's a sport. But it's something you're passionate about, but yet you started a business around it. What would be a piece of advice you would give to somebody that maybe has something that they're passionate about, or they're an avid participant in, and can you build a business? What would you tell them?
Absolutely. There are opportunities to, not only monetize, but to extend the impact of your passion. Everyone is an expert in a field of some sorts. Everyone is a leader in a community. Yeah. So to be able to amplify that message and, broadcast it across audiences that may have never even known this existed is something that is so impactful. And even if you don't think there's opportunities there to, build it into something bigger than what you're doing right now, I promise you there are people out there and there are resources that want to see you succeed and that believe in your mission just as much as you do.
That's great advice. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have any long-term plans for CacheMore? What's that look like?
I hope to, keep expanding these geocaching tours into different regions and, highlight, the unique communities and attributes across Appalachia as a whole. This summer, we're bringing geocachers back to Morgantown for a Amazing Race style event.
When is that?
So that's going to be the end of June 27th.
Great.
So we're partnering with 25 different locations throughout North Central West Virginia.
Very cool.
And we're putting puzzles and clues in each of the locations that geocachers essentially have those 24 to 36 hours to go to find as many as possible and try to piece the puzzle together before the end of the event.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that. Another sounds like a pretty significant undertaking, and it sounds like it's going to be another roaring success. So I think that's awesome. Mark, we've covered a lot in our interview today, and I'm really grateful for your time coming in and sharing your business, CacheMore, with us, everything you're doing in this geocaching. I've learned a lot, and I think our audience will as well. And I'm excited to get in there and kind of learn about it. Maybe I'll even become a geocacher.
Sure.
I think that sounds like a lot of fun. It kind of ties in with adventure and hiking, getting outside and doing the things we love to do. And I think that's probably a side benefit that kind of that just comes to my mind is like we're really on this show, Positively West Virginia, we're trying to encourage people to get out and explore, West Virginia.
Yeah.
And so this is a great way to do it.
100%.
You have like a reason to do it, right? Go out and find a treasure.
There are so many locations across, the world that I have visited that I would have never imagined.
There you go.
I would have found if not for geocaching.
It's so cool. Yeah, I love it. So as we first of all, is there anything else about your story or CacheMore that you think that we haven't covered that our audience would like to know about?
I think the only other thing is that we're just getting started. The impact of treasure tourism is something that I really see being the next evolution of experiential marketing and the events and bringing people to locations. So the work with Geo Woodstock specifically won the Mountain State Tourism Development Award with the West Virginia State Tourism Conference.
Awesome! Congratulations!
Thank you. And the impact of treasure tourism won the Innovator of the Year award. So there's definitely a lot of impact and reasons that go behind some of the fate and the future of what I'm trying to say here.
Hard work pays off.
Absolutely.
And you're doing a lot of great work here in West Virginia, Mark, and I appreciate that. How can folks learn more about CacheMore, about Mark Webb, maybe even get in touch with you? What's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so we're on all the social channels, so feel free to reach out. It's CacheMore, which is CACHE, like geocache or computer cache, not like money.
Yeah.
We also, you can visit our website. We have a lot of our projects that are upcoming or that we've done on there, as well as all the information about the event. But apart from that, feel free, you can reach out to me on any of the social media platforms or LinkedIn. I love connecting with people and sharing that entrepreneurial spirit and figuring out how we can integrate geocaching into any projects or initiatives that they have coming up.
I love it. I think it's awesome what you're doing, Mark. Our guest once again is Mark Webb from CacheMore. It's been an honor to have you on the show to learn about your story and this great business that you're building based on treasure tourism. I love that term, and we'll help you promote that. And we'll have links to all your social media channels on our post and on the podcast as well to help you get the word out. So thanks again, Mark, for being here. Appreciate you. Folks, that's a wrap on another episode of Positively West Virginia. If you or someone you know would be a great guest on our show, drop us a line on our website at positivelywv.com. And of course, we appreciate your encouragement, sharing great stories like that of Mark Webb and his business, CacheMore, helping him spread the word about treasure tourism, bringing people into the Mountain State, and all the great things that we have to offer here in West Virginia. On behalf of our entire Positively West Virginia team, including our producer today, Mr. Jimmy Murray, behind the controls. Jimmy, great job. Appreciate you. I'm your host, Jim Matuga. Stay positive, West Virginia.
We'd like to thank our partners, Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Kia of Morgantown, Interaction Media, Humble Influence, and our studio sponsor, BreezeLine, for helping to share these positive stories. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the Positively West Virginia podcast, visit positivelywv.com/sponsor.